Good evening, and right before we dive in, I wanted to quickly mention that over on Epic TV, we recently published an awesome special documentary called The Raid on America that goes deep into examining the real story behind the raid on Mar-a-Lago, as well as its possible connections to the Spygate investigations, the Russia-Trump collusion investigations that have been going on behind the scenes since 2016. If you want to check out that phenomenal documentary, the link will be right there at the very top of the description box. And now, let's dive right in. This right here is a picture of some of the documents that the FBI allegedly took from President Trump's Florida home. And as you can see, besides some of them being marked as secret and top secret, the FBI agents also took a copy of a Time magazine issue that President Trump had framed. However, let me back up for a moment and explain why this photo was released by the FBI in the first place. Following the raid on Mar-a-Lago, right after the search warrant and then the affidavit was released, President Trump's legal team issued an official request to the court in order to have the judge assign something called a special master to review the documents that were seized from President Trump's home by agents of the government. Here's specifically what part of this filing says. Again, this is from Trump's legal team to the judge. Quote, "Law enforcement is a shield that protects Americans. It cannot be used as a weapon for political purposes. The documents are presumptively privileged until proven otherwise, making it unreasonable to allow the prosecutorial team to review them without meaningful safeguards. Short of returning the seized items to President Trump, only a neutral review by a special master can protect the great public interest in preserving the confidentiality of conversations that take place in the president's performance of his official duties." Now, in case you've never heard of it before, what's known as a special master is an individual, typically it's a retired lawyer or a retired judge, who is appointed by the court in certain cases when there is a concern that materials that were seized by the government might contain information that is protected by either attorney-client privilege or some other type of privilege, like in the case of President Trump, executive privilege. And so, in a case like this, a special master will be appointed to review the materials that were collected by the government and to essentially vet them and to sift out any privileged documents before the government officials can actually look at them. However, if you've been paying attention to this case at all, well, then you obviously notice a problem, which is that, as of today, government agents have already collected, sifted through, and they have examined all of the documents that they took from President Trump. And furthermore, it appears that those documents did indeed contain privileged information. That's because, just 2 days ago, the Department of Justice, in response to Trump's request for a special master, they submitted their own 40-page document arguing that the judge should not assign a special master. And within this filing, the Department of Justice actually admitted that they have completed the examination of all the documents and that indeed they might have contained attorney-client privileged information. Specifically, here is part of what the Department of Justice statement said, again, part of this 40-page document. Quote, "The government notes that before the court issued its preliminary order and in accordance with the judicially authorized search warrants provisions, the privilege review team identified a limited set of materials that potentially contain attorney-client privileged information. They completed its review of those materials and is in the process of following the procedure set forth in paragraph 84 of the search warrant affidavit to address potential privilege disputes, if any." Meaning, in plain English, that the FBI has already sifted through all of Trump's documents. They found some that potentially fall under the purview of what you can describe as being attorney-client privileged, but they told the court that there is nothing to worry about, since they are following their protocols that, I might add, actually include asking Trump's legal team whether they will assert privilege over said documents. Furthermore, the Department of Justice is arguing that, for one, President Trump actually lacks standing to request a special master because, according to them, the records in question belong to the United States rather than to him, and that, secondly, the Department of Justice wrote that the documents were likely, quote, "concealed and removed from the storage room and that efforts were likely taken to obstruct the government's investigation." It was in this same filing, by the way, that the FBI included this photo, the one that I showed you earlier, with all the documents splayed out on the floor. Now, naturally enough, President Trump took to his platform, Truth Social, to blast the Department of Justice for opposing the assignment of a special master. Here's part of what he wrote just yesterday. Quote, "Terrible. The way the FBI, during the raid of Mar-a-Lago, threw documents haphazardly all over the floor, perhaps pretending it was me that did it, and then started taking pictures of them for the public to see. Thought they wanted to keep them secret. Luckily, I declassified." Now, that mention of "luckily I declassified" actually refers to President Trump's argument that he declassified all these documents prior to leaving the White House. Regardless, though, it looks like the assignment of a special master is still very likely. That's because the judge, in this case, who will determine whether a special master is assigned or not, Judge Eileen Cannon, who was actually assigned to the bench by President Trump himself, itself, well, she said in a recent filing that she will likely approve a special master to look at the documents as well as the other materials. Here's what she said in the filing, again, just from a few days ago. Quote, "Pursuant to Rule 53b1 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure and the court's inherent authority, and without prejudice to the parties' objections, the court hereby provides notice of its preliminary intent to appoint a special master in this case." However, it's worth noting that despite her writing that she has the intention to assign a special master in this particular case, she also added that this particular notice should, quote, "not be construed as a final determination on plaintiff's motion," meaning that the next step in this whole drama is that tomorrow, meaning on Thursday, September the 1st, there will be a court hearing to address this request for a special master to review the materials. So what that means is very likely by Thursday or maybe by Friday, we'll know whether the judge agreed to it or not. However, even if the judge decides to assign the special master, the next logical question would be who? Who exactly will be this special master? But you should have no fear, because just 2 days ago, a group called the National Security Counselors, they sent the judge, in this case, a letter wherein they list 4 possible candidates that they identified as being uniquely qualified experts who could serve, and this is exactly what their letter said, they can serve as the special master if the judge really needed one. And in the letter, here's what the group wrote, quote, "The accumulation of expertise on the matter of executive privilege uniquely qualifies any of these individuals to ably serve you as a special master, should you choose to appoint one." And then going further down, they list 4 names, one of which I'd really like to highlight is the one at the very top, Ms. Heidi Kitrosser, a law professor over at Northwestern University. And the reason that I really like to highlight this particular option is because after reviewing her social media posts, well, it turns out that she has actually been a vocally anti-Trump critic for years. In fact, just this month, Professor Kitrosser called Trump an existential threat to democracy. In other posts, she described him as being shameless, spineless, a narcissist, having a dangerous obsession with image control, cowardly, and having a bigoted immigration policy. In other posts, she actually promoted the theory that Vladimir Putin was somehow in control of President Trump from behind the scenes. And so, what all this means is that at the end of the day, whether or not a special master is actually assigned in this case, well, that's only half the battle for Trump's legal team, with the other half being finding a special master who isn't overtly or covertly anti-Trump. Regardless, as I mentioned earlier, the hearing regarding this special master debate, drama, whatever you want to call it, is set for Thursday, September the 1st at 1 p.m. over in West Palm Beach, Florida. And so perhaps as early as tomorrow afternoon, Friday, or perhaps this weekend, we will know what the judge has decided upon. Until then, if you'd like to read more details regarding this ongoing aspect of the raid on President Trump's home, including all the court documents and letters that we went through, I'll throw all that down into the description box below this video for you to check out. And all I ask in return is that you take a super quick moment to smash that like button so this video can be shared out to ever more people via the YouTube algorithm. And also, if you haven't already, consider subscribing to this YouTube channel as well. That way we can get this type of honest news content delivered directly into your YouTube feed every time we publish it. This right here is an American Walking Liberty 1-ounce gold coin. And typically, I order at least one of these from our sponsor, American Hartford Gold, every single month. The reason I do so is because, as you likely know, the inflation rate in this country is the highest that has been in, the last 40 years now. Everything like the price of food, the price of housing, the price of gas is absolutely going through the roof. And in fact, market experts like the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, he's not only predicting a recession, but he's even using words like unprecedented economic hurricane. And so listen, I absolutely do not give you any financial advice, but I would recommend that you do what I do, which is pick up the phone and call American Hartford Gold. Their super friendly staff can help you diversify your portfolio by either getting physical gold and physical silver delivered directly to your doorstep like I do, or deposited directly into your IRA and your 401k accounts. They make the entire process super simple. And actually, besides me, they have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau with quite literally thousands of satisfied clients around the country. And best of all, to our viewers, to the viewers of Facts Matter, they are currently throwing in $2,500 worth of free silver on your first qualifying order. So giving them a call is an absolute no-brainer. So pick up the phone and call 866-242-2352. That's 866-242-2352. Or text Roman to 65532. Their link will also be down in the description box below. And now let's head on back to the studio. And now, as I mentioned at the very top of today's episode, over on Epic TV, we published an awesome special documentary detailing what's going on behind the scenes of this whole FBI raid on President Trump's home. That documentary is called Raid on America, and here's a trailer.
I can't imagine what the affidavit would say to justify a seizure that broad.
There was essentially nothing in the body of this very classified document that gave any evidence that Trump was a Russian asset.
That doesn't seem to make a lot of sense.
All of these documents I'm taking are declassified. I mean, this is not some bureaucratic process.
I don't even know why that was necessary. I think it's just part of the tactics to try to increase pressure on those around President Trump.
My colleague, Peter Navarro, is arrested on a misdemeanor by an FBI SWAT team at Reagan Airport.
On January 25th, 2019, 29 fully SWAT-clad FBI agents who arrived in 17 armored vehicles with a government helicopter overhead and 2 FBI boats pulling up to the dock behind my house. I gather the purpose of this was intimidation.
Donald Trump, as a human being, as a man who is now a politician, is not owned by anybody. And that's what makes him very dangerous. He is lethal to the vested interests in this city, left and right.
If you'd like to check out the entirety of that awesome documentary, as well as a plethora of other great content over on Epic TV, I'll throw the link. It'll be right there at the very top of the description box. And by the way, I should note that besides this documentary, I myself publish somewhere between 2 to 3 exclusive episodes of Facts Matter that, due to the regime of censorship here on YouTube, I can just frankly, literally, sometimes cannot post here. And so if you click there, you can check out the documentary as well as all of our awesome other programming. And then until next time, I'm your host, Roman from the Epic Times. Stay informed, and most importantly, stay free.